Now, I agree with you. I happen to be friends with both of them. The reason why I bring this up is because you don't know personally, but you do. I've met several girls through the both of you that I've ended up going out with.
Wait, what?
Yes, yeah, several girls because they're my friends.
I was not introduced.
Of course, I did not.
Yeah, now we know. Now we know why he's such good friends with us. You know what I mean?
Being friends with the two of you, I have met so many women. It's ridiculous. It's like you run a fucking modeling agency. It's ridiculous. Like this idea that like me being friends with you is just like somehow no, we put each other in the friend zone. That's kind of what it is. I never like it. Never really needed to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you are immersed with enough women around you, you can pull it off. 99% of the time you can't, which is why you're right. Right? Most of the time. If you do not have that level of abundance. I remember when I came back from the Middle East, I did a 6-month tour in the Middle East, and I come back and I couldn't speak to a woman to save my life. I was fumbling. This is probably maybe December of 2006. I'm like fumbling, all this kind of stuff because I had scarcity. There's a couple things I want to point out. First off, I agree. Most guys would not be able to just be friends with you.
It's different because it's normal to you. It's not normal to be around, and it's not normal for a man to be around beautiful women.
But here's the other thing. If a man has enough abundance, he can definitely be friends with women. Otherwise, he cannot be friends with women. Yep. You probably know some like male strippers who are like this. They're like, there's so many. There's just no possibility when I go to the Ignite party with 116 women that I'm attracted to all of them. My brain can't go in that many directions. So it's possible. Because this is the big debate. But you as a man have to have enough abundance to make it work. And when you do make it work, you have some amazing friends in your life. And the whole dating thing that happens afterwards is just kind of automatic.
So you're like me, an alien.
I'm an alien?
You're an alien.
I disagree. I think every single dude in my program, MOA, has been able to replicate what I've done. Every single one.
Why is it that you think that mortal men cannot be friends with mortal women?
I say
not the gods, not amongst the gods and the demigods.
I hate to be the statistical asshole. It is possible but rare for the mortal men.
Totally agree with you.
Because
I completely agree with you.
And part Mike gives one reason, like abundance, but the other thing is like most guys are. I hate to say this, are losers. They have, especially in America, they have nothing going on. Right? Yeah, 85%. I'm even going to upgrade it to. They have no real jobs. They have no real life.
Overweight.
They're weak. They're cowards, not just as it approaches women, but life. And if you have nothing else in life, a lot of guys use women to fill that void with little to no regard as that person being an independent human being or a soul or an intellect. And that's an object to fill this hole. And so that's where you get possessive. And then, here's this girl. Oh, my God, I'm about to get point and purpose and reason in life, and now I'll finally get my peen touched. You know, so that, if you come into it with girls are the number one thing in your life, every girl you're going to interact with is going to be a prospective sexual prospective lay. So, no, then you cannot have platonic friendships. But if you get guys who are like, listen, bitch, I got a job and going on right now. No, I don't want to go out with you to the nightclub till 3 a.m. I'm going to go home and have my tea. And you know, and then those guys where they're just like, another thing, Mike, if you've gotten laid enough, you know, it's not a mystery anymore. And
I wasn't even going to bring that part of it up, but yes, that is the other part of it. Like if you were fulfilled in that way, like Bulgarian told me one time, he goes, I couldn't sleep with all these women if I had 16 dicks. Like that's what he's like real talk. Like it's one of these situations where like at some point, dude, Dan does have female friends because it's not a function of like, this girl put me in the friend zone. It's a function of like I don't have enough time in the day. The other thing is I'm at a point now where I have a specific type. If you are not my type, it doesn't mean you're not attractive. I'm just not putting you in that category. And here's the craziest part. What do you think this does when I meet women? In general, they're more attracted to me because of the fact that like I don't go nuts. Like majority of men who meet either one of you,
too. You're much more trusted.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like I don't act weird. I'm like, what up, homie? Like that's it. Fist bump or whatever in those type of situations. But here's the thing: it's not 1%. Every single dude in my program has been able to accomplish this, and I have visual proof that they were able to accomplish this. It's just a function of where we got to the point where we don't understand how to create abundance in our social lives. But if you have enough, it's not even a function of can you be friends with women. You're just going to be friends with women just because there's too many fucking women. Try managing a strip club and just thinking I'm going to sleep with every single woman in it. It won't work. It just doesn't work.
It's easy to. Okay, so here's the quote. women have boyfriends and girlfriends. If you're not fucking her, you're her girlfriend.
Right.
Because women, when you relate to women as women, when you start speaking that language, when you're like, oh, we're going to be friends, what are we going to do? Let's go paint our toenails together, right? I mean, when you have that conversation, what happens is women will see a guy who wants to be her, and this is from not from your perspective, but from the average
85%.
The 85%,
very key,
because they think they tend to believe that friendship is that, oh well. So there's a chance. Oh yeah.
Well, some people say they'd like to become friends first.
Exactly.
Before
exactly.
So I'm just. But they're aliens.
And that's usually That usually gets back to. And I don't. Does anybody even do this anymore? Like, let's just be friends. Rejection.
Yeah.
I don't think of you.
No.
Way.
I've seen
a brother.
I've seen girls say that to dudes before. I think they still do.
Well,
the other thing is like me and Sab never said, "Hey, we're gonna be friends, buddy." It just happened.
I actually feel like I have to
official.
question it every time someone wants to hang out with you. I'm like, is this a
Well, yeah, but you're
date?
exceptionally attractive. Nearly every guy is going to have a physical attraction to you.
So is it always a date?
For the most part, yeah.
If you'll let it be, if you'll let it be, that's the thing.
So what do you do to not let it be?
This is not a date.
But that's your choice, right? I always say it like this: for men and women, it's like this. If you go on a date, for a man, you're on a high wire. It's like you're on a tightrope. If you fuck up anything, teeth are fucked up, whatever. She lives somewhere else. You fall off the tightrope, and nobody has sex. With women, it's like this going down a lazy river. Like unless you get out that motherfucker, we're gonna go right back to the bedroom.
What happens with guys who try to be friends with women is they start to relate to women as women relate to other women. So it's like think of your same-sex friends. I'm sure you guys are pretty good friends. Like you can relate with your same-sex friends in a different way than you're going to relate with a guy who wants to be your platonic friend. Yeah. So what happens is like I relate to him a whole lot different than if I was going to relate to somebody who was like Tori, for example. Like I consider her a friend, right? Like we talk and everything. But I relate to her way differently than I do for him because like men and men and women, when they're friends, there's a different dynamic to that. And what happens is when especially a guy who doesn't have the abundance and thinks that the way he's gonna slide in there is I'm gonna be your friend first, and then
sneaky fucker game.
Once she trusts me, it's sneaky a cuddlefish, right? She's as soon as she trusts me, then finally I got to build up rapport, and she says she needs to be comfortable before we have sex, and he thinks that that's the way he's gonna get there. And what happens is by being a friend. Now, for you, they can become wingmen. For most guys, it's usually that seems to me like a good form of game. It seems like a very
logical safe,
way of doing this. And
polite,
the problem is those guys end up relating to women as if they're their girlfriends, and so what happens is women's brains think, this isn't a man, this is another girl. And so that's why they start relating to each other in a sense of the same female and female dynamic.
I will say I talked to some of my guy friends about problems that was before. Now I just don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, you were going to talk about this. Some switches flipped with Tony Jordan.
And by the way, this friendship dynamic is entirely monetizable on OnlyFans.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
That's why you have so many followers.
The girlfriend experience is the number one selling thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Exactly.